Hey, it's Mr. Marshall with MESArcFF Foam Fighters crew. We got on the work table Colby's new plane, the MFJ-20. The plans are available, they're on the website, so make sure you go ahead and download them that now. This video is going to be the build video on how we go about putting this all together. So we cut out everything and we painted everything, decorated it. If you guys want to watch out so you can get some of this stuff. We've even painted the struts that go to help the wing supports. But we've got, it's all ready to go. The equipment that we're going to be using is just little MG90S's servos, just your basic control horn linkage setup. I like this motor. We'll use this motor. This was off the Wolverine. This is one of those turn-engine motors. It's equivalent to like a Super Mega Jet. Standard receiver, and then we're just using a 35C 2100 Zippy. This can also house a 4-cell, so we'll test this out, along with this 80 amp. This is a little overkill, but the plane's big enough to where it can support it. We'll be able to throw a 4-cell in there nice and easy so we can see the performance of this plane and how it matches up. With the Wolverine, we made it out of that Dollar Tree foam. We had to tape it all. The downside with the Dollar Tree foam obviously is that once you fly it over time, the wings start to warp a little bit and they get weak. So we had to shelf the Wolverine. It will no longer fly unless we have someone else in here that builds it. But we ended up making it out of the more expensive foam board, all white on the bottom so that we can tell the difference for orientation. This plane does come with a lot of pieces. However, the end product is worth it. It really comes out really nice. So, Colby and I will be narrating these next couple films or next couple videos on steps on how we go about putting the MFJ-20 together. Cool?
Cool.
First thing is run a bead of glue on the bottom of here. Take the top fuselage piece and get it in straight so I get it in the holes. And then I'm just going to kind of hold it like how it would be if it was formed, just to kind of help out and make sure that I'm going nice and straight. After letting it dry for a little bit, I went ahead and threw a little bit of glue on the inside piece there. And then Colby did the other side. And then on the inside I'll have Colby do a couple glues on these pieces. The big thing is to make sure that you leave some space in here for the motor mount. Okay, once I have the top fuselage piece glued onto the belly plate, we're then just going to take our two motor mounts and we will glue them in to the design place back there so that our motor can have something to attach to. Alright, so the next step is to get the power system put on. So right now it's just dry fit. So I'll go in between those two brackets that we just put in. I'll throw some glue on the back side of the motor mount, making sure that it's nice and level. And for this particular plane, it does have a long fuselage, so we went ahead and made some extensions to put on our system. Alright, so we got the motor mounted with some glue. We went ahead and got a little softy to put the ESC in a comfortable spot. There's so much give for the battery in this fuselage and with this plane that, you know, it's okay if we move this ESC a little back. And for you guys' ESCs, you guys can put it wherever you want, because there's so much that you could do with your battery up front to make it a comfortable fit for the CG. Motor's glued in. ESC's just velcroed down with a little bit of slack. And it's starting to come together. Alright, so the next task is to start forming the nose cone, and that's always an art form in itself. But what I did was I took a couple pieces of tape, got it ready to hold these bad boys together, and then once I get that done, I'll throw a little bit of clear tape on the bottom to seal it up, and then I'll throw and start forming the top fuselage piece. So I just throw a little bit of glue on the inside, doesn't have to be a lot. Then I'll hold it together, and I'll kind of pin it together with some pieces of tape. Just to help me out. So just like this. And then I'll just reinforce it. I'll just throw more glue on the inside, put a little clear tape on the front of the nose, and we'll be ready for this top piece. Now that the nose cone is starting to get, you know, dry and harden up, we'll work now with the top nose cone piece. I just kind of like to bend it a little bit to give me some form. And then when we place it on there, I want to make sure I got to where I'm buttoned up against the side flaps of the top fuselage. Make sure that the dry fit looks pretty good before we glue. Throw some glue on the sides here with a little bit of help with some tape. Hold it for a while, and then I should be good. Let's hold there for about a minute or two, and I should be good. Alright, so now we got our nose cone done. And all we did was, once we kind of finished it here, we went ahead and we just did our finishing touches with our sealing tape that you can just buy at Amazon. So we just bought some black sealing tape to go on the front. It looks really good. He did a good job on this part. Alright, so now I'm going to have Colby start aligning and getting the top plate to fit on top of this. So what I'll have him do is he'll fold these down a little bit, and what we might actually have to do is sometimes we'll throw a couple beads of glue along the insides of these, and as we close them, we want to make sure that they line up with the nose cone front. And then when the belly pan piece goes on top, it should fit right inside these grooves that you had cut out. So it's almost, it should be able to slide right on top of it, like so. Once you have that, then we can go ahead, dry fit it, make sure it all looks good, and then we can glue everything down. I'm going to go ahead and have Colby get these all done. Throw some glue on the top of here and set it on top. Alright, so you did a pretty good job on this. So you see, we glued the inside of it and then just formed it. And then on this piece here, we just glued it together. So it's a nice, easy seam. And then we also threw a little bit of protection tape in there too on the inside. But now you got the whole hollow fuselage ready to rock and roll. So now before we get too far into that, we'll throw another Velcro softie in there for the batteries. And then the next step is that this thing just simply fits on top. Like that. Alright, so I got glue on the inside seams here. And when I put this down, I want to make sure that the back of it hits the motor mount first. Holding it in place. I also don't want to make sure, I want to make sure these things are loose. Check my back here. Yeah, it's pretty good. Just make sure that the front all lines. And making sure that the back aligns too. If you look at the plane straight on, it should be pretty much, you know, level on both sides. The big thing though is making sure that you have these able to move. Because what's going to happen is you're going to add some more glue along the sides here. And that'll secure it. Plus it'll give you a little bit more leeway when it comes to putting on the main wings. This back piece here, to get it to form right, once we get the plane all set and situated, we'll put some glue in here to make sure that this back piece gets formed. Alright, so Colby's got this piece done here, helping him out with it. Looks really good. The next step is we're going to have him take his main wing, or one of his main wings, and take the struts. These struts are hard to do, but Colby found out that it's just best to cut the hole all the way through, so it doesn't matter, you know, what the drawing says. Just cut the hole all the way through, so you can use this either for the front left or you can use it for the front right. Same thing goes for the back. What he's going to do is he's just going to take them with the teeth up, and he's going to get them to be mounted there. And he's going to take the other ones to be mounted there on both wings. So here we go. I did one and he did the other one, and we just got the wing struts put onto the main wings. Got a little glue there. It was looking pretty good. Now the next step is the hard step, and that is to put them on the main wings. Alright, so here's the hard part. You want to make sure that the leading edge of your main wing here is to the center of, or not the center, but to the front edge of your top plate. And then what we'll do here next is we'll just throw a bead of glue right in the middle of this, and then we'll just punch this up here. We got 2 pieces of tape to put on the side over here to kind of balance out the wing, and we'll call it a day. Alright, here we go. So I'll just kind of hold it here in place. Doesn't really matter necessarily whether or not my wings level, just as long as it gets in there and we get some sort of hold on there. That's pretty good. So I'll hold this for about another minute or so. Alright, so the next step is getting this top plate flush, or as flush as you possibly can with your main wing. So it's just barely holding on. And so what we'll do is we'll throw a little bit of glue in one spot first. It'll be easier for us to hold on to it. So I'll hold this section down. For about a minute or so, and then I'll start working on the back parts. Alright, so I got this top piece pretty much done. Got a nice bead of glue all the way along the front here. And so after showing Colby how to do this part, I'll let him do the other side. And we'll go from there. Alright, so we got both the wings done. And you should be able to lift them up so that you can get underneath the backhand side. So this next step is going to be a little bit more trickier. You've got to take this piece here and almost bend it a little bit because it's got to form to the rest of the body. And just kind of test it out. It should, when you get it together, it should go all the way to that corner right there. So I don't know if you can see it. See how if it's like this, that's wrong. It needs to go all the way in around that corner. So it looks like this. And then I'll just keep on forming it until you can get it all the way around. All the way around to the edge right here. And then once you got that done, I'd glue in sections and then you're set to go. I'll do this side and Colby will do the next side. Alright, so what we did was we only glued half the inner box. So you can see here, that bottom fuselage, we probably only did about halfway through. And then we made sure that it was right there at the corner. Now this back piece here, we just got to fold in. We'll glue this section next. It'll be a lot easier to form in the body. So you got to kind of curve the tips a little bit to get that desired look. So here's the back side, and we got to go nice and flush with the wing all the way across, and then we just use some tape to kind of finish up the body. It's gonna look pretty good. Alright, so Colby just went ahead and put some black tape over the seam so it makes it look like it's seamless. But it really kind of gives that complete body look. We're going to do the same thing for the other side and start working on the stabilizers. Hey, I got Colby here finally. He's been working on the build with me, and the last video just showed us finishing up this last piece right here. Colby got excited and went ahead and we ended up building the rest of it and didn't quite show. It's not too bad. They're actually pretty easy, these next couple steps. So Colby did the other side, and he got that body part done, and then so that secured both these main wings here. And then it was time to put on the main stabilizers, and I did the right one to show him how to do it, and then Colby went ahead and did the left side. And guys, there's not a really particular angle. I will measure it though, and we will put them in our plans for the angle of the stabilizers, because they are not straight up and down, they're not just vertical. They do have some sort of an angle on them. Okay, and then after we did the stabilizers, we did the bottom, right?
Yep.
Bottom stabilizers. Okay, the bottom stabilizers, all we did is we just glued them to where they finished up, right where the main wing is. And I'll flip them over. You can probably see it from that too, Harrison. And to get that angle that we had, we just glued it on there, and then we just laid it down. And so when it sat down, it gave us these angles that we wanted, so that when we land, we don't rip them off.
Yeah.
Like there's a big old drag plate when we hit the ground. And then, Colby, you went ahead and did the servos next. Tell us how you did those.
It was pretty easy. We had to make sure that we cleared the bottom stabilizer so it wouldn't come up and hit. So if that was over there, then it'd only be up to about there at its fullest, and that wouldn't provide really any lift. So we just put them about right outside the bottom stabilizer. See here how it's not too far inside, but it's not clear out here either. It's just about perfect.
Cool.
That was pretty much it. Pretty easy.
Yeah, that part wasn't too bad. And then we just went ahead and we just cut this bad boy out and put it all in there. We do a little popsicle method, and we do like a little double-sided tape where it gives like a little cavity in there. And then we just put, magnets on the end, and then we just slide the popsicle stick inside first, and then just throw it down in the back. It ends up, completing it pretty well. But this is his build. This is your plane, man. Tell us, what do you think of this whole thing?
I'm pretty happy with it. It's exactly how I imagined it last year when we started first coming up with the concept and starting the process of designing it and prototyping it, and now the end product is just awesome. It's pretty sweet.
This is really cool, and this is going to be free because you designed it.
Yeah.
This will be free to everybody, and we're almost done with the plans.
Yeah.
We're just working on the cover pages of it, making sure that every detail, we're changing up our plans a little bit, just to give a little bit more information to you guys about us and about the plane. A little history behind the design and stuff, because this has taken them quite a while. I mean, you built the plane, you figured out all the missed measurements, and then we went back and fixed it and built it again, flew it, prototyped it, crashed it. Now we have this bad boy. But that's what it takes to get a product that looks like this.
Yeah.
And you've learned that. So you did a good job, Colby, and I'm sure that there's going to be thousands of people out there that are going to download this plane and make this thing fly all over the world. So you've definitely made your mark in the hobby and in Mesa. So congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Well, that concludes our build video. And we hope you enjoyed the flight video, and look for more stuff to come out of this guy before the year ends.